Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wolf. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're doing tremendously well. Happy Halloween. Um, Jules is finally here. The mom, the celebrity, the chef, the brand new character to the Bazaar, who is a ton of fun to play. She brings a entirely new mechanic called board space objects to the game. Board space objects sit above your rug but below your items, and they augment whatever items are on top of them. For Jules, that means she has two brand new types of, I'm going to call them BSOs. Um, she has a heater or a stove or a cooler slash chiller. I will use those terms interchangeably probably. Providing either whatever items on top of them, either heated or the chilled effect. And we can see that in our first item, which is microwave. It's a medium tool and has a 9-second cooldown. It hastes your food for 2 seconds. And if it's heated, this item's cooldown is reduced by 50%. Now this item is really interesting. Haste is a very powerful mechanic. I always find haste to be particularly powerful at 2 seconds actually. And if we're heating this item, we cut the cooldown in half, and if you're running a bunch of foods, this effectively becomes 4.5 seconds, haste your whole board, which is really good. Obviously not the microwave, but everything else, which is really, really interesting, really good. I also really have been enjoying her art. I like whatever is going on here. Is that jambalaya? I don't know. I have an item called jambalaya coming up too. I was just wondering if that was it. Very interesting. I really like this item when I messed around with it, and so I hope you guys will too. Next up, jambalaya. I went to New Orleans one time with my buddy, and I had a ton of this, and it's amazing. And I also, again, I think this art looks amazing and delicious. Tons of little Bazaar shrimp here. That's not the point. Medium food, 6 seconds. Gain 2 regen for the fight, burn 2, base value of 2 and 2. And when you gain regen, a burn item gains plus 2 burn for the fight. This is a really interesting way to kind of capitalize on your regen boards. I don't know, I guess I kind of view this like an item, not that this is a one-to-one comparison at all, like Dragonheart, where with Dragonheart I always find it more effective to kind of like stack one like burn item. Like you don't want to have like 20 burn items with Dragonheart, because then like your Dragonheart's going to spread it all over. You want to just double the same thing over and over and over. That's my running theory at least. I kind of view that as like Jambalaya. Like to me it seems like an item where you kind of almost want to like have 1 or 2 burn things and then a bunch of regen spam and then like kind of stack your burn things. But it's also interesting to me because like I think it's always interesting when you capitalize off of like defensive win cons. Like for example, like Spiky Shield, you're playing Shield, and then you use Spiky Shield to like capitalize off of that. So like for me, this is kind of like, yeah, you're playing regen and then you convert that regen. I always kind of like those kind of builds. To me, I don't know how to explain it, but they always kind of feel like, I don't know, clever in a way. I don't know. I don't know how to make that make sense. But Jambalaya is very interesting. Let's see what do we got next. We have caviar. Caviar is a small food. Also looks delicious. Your food items have plus crit chance equal to twice this item's value, and at the start of the day this gains plus 1 value. Now, this is pretty interesting because it can be a decent little way to kind of stack value in your stash, but also if you care about crit on your food or you just want to give a bunch of crit to some items, Dragon Steak for example, I know they showed that item on the website, cares about crit with its burn. So, this could also be like an interesting way to like give a bunch of stats to your food. If you get this early, I don't know exactly what this does when you upgrade it, but when you get this early, you can kind of start stacking crit. Maybe you can even get this thing to be like a Corzina crest type effect. That's also a food. I don't know. Very interesting to me. Very shiny looking. Comment if you guys have had caviar before. Also, I want to say that none of these items are like finalized, so they may be subject to some changes before everything is released. Here's saffron. Saffron is a small food, shields for 5, and adjacent items gain plus shield for the fight equal to this item's shield. Saffron's really cool, because to me it kind of reminds me almost of like Piggles, like shield Piggles, where shield Piggles can kind of give adjacent items shield. So like you can run it as like that kind of effect, 4 seconds is pretty quick. But I really feel like I see potential if you can find a good way to buff saffron. So for example, like if you're also scaling saffron where it'll shield for 5, then 10, then 15, and you can like buff adjacent shield items, for example, I think that could be quite powerful. I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but it's just like a running kind of theory I have. I don't know. I like the idea, or it's like it's obviously really good if like a shield skill of some sort, even if you like have it on the far left of your board and you're only touching like one shield item. That's a lot of shield very quickly and tons of stacking, but I don't know. I see a lot of promise if there is a good way to maybe like continuously buff this thing's shield. There's a skill that's like whenever you use a non-weapon, your shield items get shield for the fight. Can't remember that off the top of my head. Could be really good with saffron, for example. Here's Dragon Melon. It's a medium food and dragon item, which is kind of an interesting combo. 8-second cooldown. Shield equal to 10% of your max health. Chilled, you have plus 10% max health. Very interesting to me. So basically, this is a huge shield stat stick, and it gets doubly good on chilled. So, I don't know. Crypt released an item called Durian, and I think this could be a really good combo with that, where you just get like a huge chunk of shield up front, especially if you also have like a ton of health, for example. Um, just really, really scale up your health, and then you have like this huge chunk of shield. I assume that as you upgrade it, it's going to upgrade the shield, but I guess it could also upgrade cooldown. I don't really know. But for example, if it's like 20 and 20 and like 30 and 30 at like gold and diamond, that could be a really substantial amount of shield. Uh, well, am I also like seeing this? I don't know how the obsidian enchant works, but if it's like shield and damage like sync up, maybe you can get a one-shot dragon melon depending on what it looks like at gold or diamond, which would be kind of cool. You can just have like this huge one-shot stat stick or something. It's kind of just like a Soul the District. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Again, really enjoying the art here. Farmer's Market. Last item for you guys. It's a large property. Adjacent region items have have plus region equal to 1% of your max health. When you sell food, gain max health equal to 2 times the item's value, and your food at plus 1 sell value. So for me, I definitely noticed this as a really good like econ item. Like, obviously Jules is a chef, so she's gonna have a lot of food items. If you're constantly like upgrading your board, changing out things in your board, you're gonna be buying and selling a lot of foods. So I think Farmer's Market will kind of give you a fair bit of value back when you're buying and selling. When you sell a food, gain max health equal to 2 times that food's value. That, I don't necessarily know if that's like the most meaningful thing. I know it like works well with the regen, but like for example, if you sell a gold small, it typically sells for 8 gold. It's going to sell for 9 gold with this. So you're going to gain like 18 health, which isn't a lot. Like, it's basically a silver chocolate bar, which I don't know. Maybe not that crazy, but maybe if you do it enough, I mean, who knows how many foods you'll be buying and selling if you have a good way to cycle them. I don't actually know if there's a really good way to cycle food, but if there is, I could maybe see that, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, sure, it's only a silver chocolate bar, but if you do it like 20 times a day, it's pretty good. And then this is also really interesting. Adjacent region items have plus region equal to 1% of your max health. I don't know. Well, pretty cool if you find belt for sure, but yeah, I don't know what those kind of values look like late game, because 1% doesn't seem like a lot, but I could also see it being kind of crazy. Um, like if you have like a couple of very small, quick region items, or maybe like if you even have a good way to like scale your max health in combat or something, it could be nasty. Or obviously finding bow. We'll have to see, but it's definitely like an interesting theory craft item as we start to see all the items come out together. But yeah, guys, that was my Jules reveal. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and sub, or don't. I'm not going to make you do anything you don't want to do. Thank you again. Hope you enjoy Jules and everything she has to offer, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.
Just trying to get something spooky out to